Hello YouTube, it's the Kentucky Cunctator with a quick little DVD update slash vlog talking about a couple of recent pickups I made in terms of just DVDs. One is my favorite, well, it's up there, Taxi Driver as far as my favorite Martin Scorsese film, and that's Cape Fear. The film came out in 1991. This is the collector's edition. As far as just a DVD release, this is the one they have because it's a 2-disc release with the 80-minute making of documentary, which has interviews with everybody. You know, Scorsese, De Niro. If you can say you interviewed De Niro. De Niro's, I think most great actors are pretty much vapid individuals. They're not what someone you would sit down and have dinner with. That's why they make great actors in terms they are able to assume the role of a different character, and that's what they become for a short period. Then they, sort of shed that skin and move on to somebody else. They're not intrinsically interesting, and you get that from whenever you see De Niro interviewed or whatever. But Scorsese's in it, and he's pretty good. Obviously, Nick Nolte, everybody that's in the film is interviewed. The screenwriter. I love Cape Fear because it works on a philosophical level as far as Max Cady, this demon-like character that's introduced into the story. Is he there to help? Is he there to hurt? It very much has Nietzsche connotations as far as making this family struggle to allow them to grow. Down the line, I will make a good review / analysis of Cape Fear, why I feel it's one of the smarter films, why I feel it's one of the better critiques of our legal system and of Christianity that's really out there as far as a DVD, a mainstream film. It's really amazing to me how few people pick up on this movie as far as how anti-establishment it is, as far as the established way of viewing the world about what is right or wrong. I love Cape Fear. I think Scorsese did it because basically he owed the studio who made this, Universal, a favor because they pushed and put through The Last Temptation of Christ, which was not was not guaranteed to be a financial blockbuster just because of the material. But he seemed not really that enthused to do it. If you watch the behind the making of, but the product that comes from there, it seems like De Niro was really the driving force behind the film, and it just shows what a great artistic mind that he had before he basically, like everybody else, he gets old and you pretty much lose that artistic fire you had within you. But Cape Fear, my favorite Scorsese film. Up there of Taxi Driver. I think Taxi Driver in some ways is superior on technical as far as script level. It's a very well written film. Cape Fear, however, it's right up there with me. I love this movie. It's the best remake. I think it's a better remake than The Thing. I think The Thing, is a great horror film. I think Cape Fear is smarter. That's just my opinion. So pick this one up. All right, if you don't already have. If you like the film, just because of the behind the scenes, the making of, it's another film. Right, you get basically 2 films for the price of one. And I should also mention, behind the making of Cape Fear, they don't really mention much about Nietzsche in it. You get the idea that that's part of the story. The screenwriter, I think his name's Wesley Strick. Yes, Wesley Strick, he's interviewed a lot in it, and he talks about, you get the idea, he had the idea of putting Max Cady as this demon-like character that comes down, puts them through loss and struggle and makes them better. But I'm not sure it entirely grasped the Nietzsche concepts in here. Regardless, what it comes out as, if you ever wonder about what ideas of struggle, growth, being a Superman as far as making your own laws of conduct and ethics, Max Cady, all right, and he puts on this show that he's this Christian guy. He uses Christianity, uses the legal system to manipulate the people around him. All that stuff about speaking in tongues, it's all a show. the last scene you see with his eyes looking at Nick Nolte, that's the real Max Cady there. All this other stuff has just been him putting on airs as far as they use our two bedrocks of Western civilization of America, our legal system and Christianity, against Nick Nolte and his family. Alright, that's enough about Cape Fear. I love this film. The next film. If you like films, sort of Star Wars / Alien ripoffs, but this really isn't an Alien ripoff. It's not. I shouldn't say that. It's not really a Star Wars ripoff. It's a film that takes from that science fiction genre and does something interesting with it, I think. I really enjoy this film. Now, I chose a different cover, the alternate title here. This is what it was originally released as, Mind Warp and Infinity of Terror. What most people know it as Galaxy of Terror, with that great poster art, which is on the inside booklet. Right, a Roger Corman production, but it's not a typical Roger Corman film because he had a couple of smart guys who wrote the script and directed it, who actually had some sort of artistic idea behind the project. Now, you throw in that kernel of art in the beginning, the seed of some sort of idea, philosophy in this. It's got Freudian elements and a lot of Hegelian elements in this film I'll talk about in a moment. You have that seed there, and around it you have great set production, artistic production, because of James Cameron was basically in charge of the effects and the look of the ship, the creatures. He didn't have a lot of money to work with at the time, but you can still see craft was into it. So you have the artistic beginnings with the script, the direction, a couple of smart guys. Written by Mark Sigler and Bruce Clark. I think Clark was the director. A couple of smart guys who aren't particularly fond of the film now looking back. I think they wanted to make something a little bit better. I think it's a fine film. I'm not ashamed to say I like the film. I think it's a smart film. In some ways, I think it's better than Prometheus in terms of its intellectual integrity, if there is such a thing in films. But I prefer the Mind Warp title because that plays into it as far as what it's about. Galaxy of Terror is a little bit more vague. As they talk about, let me talk about the DVD first. It has a behind the making of, whatever you want to call it, a documentary. I think it's about an hour long. It's okay. I didn't really like it that much, to be honest with you. I was disappointed. You get the interviews with Corman, but really it's an effects centered behind the making of documentary, whatever you want to call it. It's very much focused on how did they make it look so good for so little, which is fine if that's what you're interested in. If you're into special effects and that kind of stuff, this would be a DVD that has the features that you like. I'm not interested in that stuff, really. I don't like when they tell me, this is how we made the creature with the hand, and the blood dribbles down. I don't really care how they made it. As long as it looks decent on the film, that's like sort of revealing the magic trick. I don't want to know. I don't care. I don't need Mitch Pileggi telling me this is how the tricks are done. Right? Remember that show? But it's something. It's features for a film that's got a giant maggot that simulate rape. It's not. I stick up for I Spit on Your Grave. This rape scene here. The directors made it so over the top. It's kind of ridiculous. But there's a hint that the victim is enjoying it towards the end, and that's when you get into dangerous territory. That's when you get in that Straw Dogs, NC-17 kind of idea, and that's dangerous ground. And most of that stuff got edited out. That's said in the making of. But the special features. Another complaint I have in terms of the booklet. It's wrong. They talk. I'm one of those losers that actually reads these fucking things. Right? I actually leaf through here. And I enjoy reading these when I get them. And it talks in this, who booklet notes, Jovanka Vukovic, whoever you may be, you got it wrong. You say in the booklet the master isn't the Ray Walston character, right? Core, the cook, right? You say it's the old commander who gets killed off, basically in the second act. He's one of the first deaths, if I remember. Commander, played by Bernard Behrens. And this whole thing, this is all wrong. They got the plot notes wrong. She says here, Trent Trantor is immediately suspicious of Commander Ilvar. I hate these ridiculous space names. Like people 300 years from now are going to be called Jeremy or Todd or Mark or something. Come on. Why do we have to have Balon and Kuhad? I mean, that's ridiculous. It's so stupid, those names. Core and... well, at least Robert Englund has a cool name in this, Ranger. I could see Ranger. I'm sure there are kids running around today named Ranger. It's a little ridiculous, but not that bad. But it talks here, I'll quote, Trantor is immediately suspicious of Commander Ilvar, played by Bernard Behrens, Galaxy's answer to Alien's Ash. What? No! You're talking about Ray Walston, the cook. He could sort of be seen as, you know, the answer to Alien and the Ash android type guy. You got it all messed up in here. How do you make a fucking booklet about the film and you not know? Did you even watch the fucking movie? Jovanka Vukovic? Right? This is shit. You made a huge error in here. You didn't even watch the movie or read the script or anything. I don't think. I think whoever wrote this just basically said, "Well, what does everybody else think about this film?" Well, I'll just put this in there. It's got cool special effects. It's got a giant maggot rape scene, and it's cheesy fun. People like it. This is just tripe. Right? This is worthless. Fuck that. Back to the film. The film itself, despite what Jovanka Vukovic says, is a smart movie. Yes, there's Freudian concepts in it, but it's very much Hegelian in terms of finding that first man, that leader, that person willing to risk his life to separate himself from the animal herd, right? Most people, if you think about in prehistory, this is why Hegel's so great. He goes from the first guy, the first caveman, and he can describe how that guy got to where he's sitting, writing at his table while Napoleon's out going. His philosophy transcends all that. Everything. That's important. Sorry, I had a little Hegel spaz attack there. I hit my microphone. While I was talking about Galaxy of Terror, it's smart in that it's seeking out that first man, that man willing to risk his life for an idea. In this film, you have a character played by Eddie Albert Jr., I think it was, who is a fine actor. I know people talk about Erin Moran, who's in Happy Days. She's not very good. She's uneven in terms, she can play scared really well, but her surprise look is just her big eyes going, oh. Like, for half the film, she's like, oh. It's sort of funny when she dies, too, that face explodes. It's sort of, I guess all that big eye stuff is foreshadowing, I don't know. But he's good in it, and he's the one man around all these, except for Robert Englund's character, Ranger. These two people are the only ones able to figure out that it's fear itself, conquering their fear, differentiating themselves from just animals who react to stimulus, impulses. I'm hungry, I need to eat, I'm afraid, I'm going to run away. Able to conquer that fear to become the first real human being, the first man. Now, Robert Englund's character is a little interesting because I think he understands all this, but he's not going to be the master. Right, the Eddie Albert Jr. character. He is going to be, in some ways, a servant who is able to transcend that role of what you would somewhat call a slave, servant, whatever, to understand, to become something, not a master, but someone who understands the world around them. someone who has gained understanding. I'll talk more about. I am going to do another review of not another, but a full-on, analytical review of Mind Warp and Infinity of Terror. Well, I'll talk about more about these concepts down the line. That was it. Probably went a little longer than I wanted to. DVD update of Cape Fear and Mind Warp and Infinity of Terror. I've gained a few subscribers recently because of that Beyond the Black Rainbow video. Thanks for all the kind comments on that. It's got over 1,000 views and a few likes, so thanks a lot. Check you later.